Greta Lowen, the eldest of the Lowen women, although she was born a penner, begins. She exudes a deep, melancholic dignity as she speaks of her horses Ruth and Cheryl. She describes how when Ruth, who is blind in one eye and must always be harnessed to the left of Cheryl, and Cheryl are frightened by one or more of Dueck's Rottweilers on the mile road that leads to church, their initial instinct is to bolt. "We have seen it happen," she says. After these short, declarative sentences, Greta has a habit of lifting her arms, dipping her head and widening her eyes as if to say, "This is a fact? Are you challenging me?" Greta explains that these horses, upon being startled by Dueck's stupid dog, don't organize meetings to determine their next course of action. They run, and by so doing, evade the dog and potential harm. Agatha Friesen, the eldest of the Friesen women, although born a Lowen, laughs, as she does frequently and charmingly, and agrees. But Greta, she states, "We are not animals." Greta replies that we have been preyed upon like animals. Perhaps we should respond in kind. "Do you mean we should run away?" asks Ona. "Or kill our attackers?" asks Salome. Marika, Greta's eldest, until now silent, makes a soft, scoffing sound. Note, as I have mentioned, Salome Friesen did assault the attackers with a scythe, whereupon the attackers were promptly rescued by Peters and the elders, and the police were called to the colony. At no other time in the history of Malachna have the police been called. The attackers were brought to the city for their own protection. Salome has since asked Peters and the elders to be forgiven for that indiscretion, but even so, her rage is barely suppressed. Vesuvian. Her eyes are never still. Even if one day she runs out of words, like a woman is said to run out of eggs, I believe that Salome will be able to communicate and to give life, fearsome life, to every emotion stemming from each injustice she perceives. There is no inward eye in Salome, no bliss of solitude. She doesn't wander, and she is not lonely. Her niece, Nietzsche, used to the gentler stylings of her late mother, Mina, but now in Salome's care, keeps her distance. Nietzsche draws and draws, perhaps to balance the wild, lava-like outpouring of her aunt's words with solid, silent lines on paper. In addition to her drawing skills, I have been told that Nietzsche is also Malachna's reigning champion of knowing how much of anything, flour, salt, lard, will fit into any given container, so that nothing and no extra space is ever wasted. Agatha Friesen, unfazed by Salome's outbursts, she has already referred to Ecclesiastes to describe Salome's temper as nothing new under the sun, as the wind blows from the north, as all streams lead to the sea, etc. To which Salome responded that her opinions should not be slotted under hoary Old Testament headings, please, and wasn't it preposterous that the women should compare themselves to animals, wind, sea, etc.? Isn't there a human precedent? Some person in whom we can see ourselves reflected back to ourselves? To which Mayal, lighting up a smoke, responded, "Yes, I'd like that too, but what humans? Where?" States that in her lifetime she has seen horses, perhaps not Ruth or Cheryl, fair enough, in deference to Greta and her high regard for her horses, but others who, when charged by a dog or coyote or jaguar, have attempted to confront the animal and or to stomp the creature to death. So it isn't always the case that animals flee their attackers. Greta acknowledges this. Yes, she has seen similar behavior in animals. She begins once again to talk of Ruth and Cheryl, but her anecdote is cut short by Agatha. Agatha tells the group she has her own animal story, also featuring Dueck's Rottweiler. She speaks quickly, often inserting asides and non sequiturs in a hushed, theatrical voice. I'm not able to hear or keep up with every detail, but I'll attempt here to tell the story in her voice, and with as much accuracy as I am able. Dueck had raccoons in his yard that he hated for a long time.